today's video I'm going to do, I think, two separate videos. One I'm going to do about all the gardening stuff that I'm working on with my mom, and the other one will be on the guys' next few hours working on the high tunnel. So next steps after putting those arches in place. I'm just coming in and harvesting all of these ranunculus. These are not quite ready here. The back row I need to open up the side, and I've got snapdragons that are also ready here. The hanging baskets are doing really, really well. They're starting to look absolutely stunning. These are Bacopa, or Megacopa, giant Bacopa. And these will actually start to hang down and create like a skirt on all sides. And my two strawberries over there are doing well, my test this year. And this, yeah, the other side. A few of the ranunculus did get hit with the heat. You'll see, like, I need to come up and clean up this, but I wanted to leave it to show you guys. This one just got too hot and pretty much just folded over, and now it's actually drying out, which is crazy. And you'll see that some of these are looking a little bit like there's some yellowing. That's due to the heat. And so it's saying, hey, we're almost done. Let's push all our energy to the buds that you have. We don't want that because we've only had about 1 week or so of blooms, and we should get about 3 to 4 weeks of blooms. So thankfully, this week, it should be a lot cooler. And so we should be in much better shape. But I still have to watch these, and I still have to pick them. So I just picked probably another 50 or 60 stems. That puts us up from Friday through Monday today. And I skipped over Saturday because I was gone. We are probably at like 150 stems, which is pretty awesome, but also crazy. They are absolutely stunning. So I will show you guys some pictures of those. Out here yesterday, we cleared up the back half of this radish bed that there was really bad soil, and I actually dug out the top few inches and then put new compost in, used the tractor, and transplanted these lettuce from the cattle panel tunnel over there. We moved out and organized and did an inventory on our bell peppers. These are all bell peppers right here. So all of these need to get planted. And then over here, we potted up some of the hot peppers. We got some Thai chilies, the guajillos, which are the El Edens, a few other things. And then these radishes are what we're going to harvest today. These 3 big bins here, that back here, and then there's some radishes in this bed here and around the potatoes that we're going to harvest. So radishes can be harvested pretty much from anywhere around like 1/2 inch on. A lot of radishes say to pick at a certain amount of days, no matter what size. The bigger ones will be spicier usually. And this is the Easter egg mix here. And these are like 5 or 6 colors. We are harvesting them today into the bulb crates here. If we had wax boxes, that would be better, but I don't have any yet. I need to work on that. But because it's so cool, it should actually be fine. And we'll actually store this in our cold cellar storage area for, it's about 55 degrees, 58 degrees or so. And then we won't bunch them today. We'll do a nice light rinse, but not a very thorough wash today. Pack them into these crates, and then we will move them down, like I said, to the cold cellar. And then at tomorrow morning, first thing, I'll be out pulling these back out and washing them and bunching them into bunches of 8 to 10, depending on size. And these will be then sold over to local food works and growing places. And so this is going to be our first large order that we've put together. The goal was to be at least 40 bunches and hopefully 70 bunches. So we will find out how many we actually have and go from there. But I wanted to show you guys before we started harvesting. Yes, some of these could be grown a little bit longer, but we need to start planting into these beds. So in order to do that, I got to clean them out. So we're Memorial Weekend. We're almost to June 1st. We we are about 2 weeks behind where I normally would have already planted. So to make sure that I can try to sell these radishes. Radish bunches go for $4 to $5 retail price. And so just to give you guys an idea on that for our area here in North Central Mass. But lots of work to do. So as expected, they are a little smaller than I wanted, but they're still very edible and delicious. So this is about roughly 18 bunches worth that lines the bottom of this one tote. So at this point, we're gonna just do a light little hose off, not really a wash, and then I'll do another layer. So we just finished about a bed and a third or so of harvesting, and we've got 34-ish worth of bunches here of the radishes. We just finished harvesting the radish beds, and Mom already planted out the onions plants we had in this back bed here. We're gonna put tomatoes and more onions in these 2 beds here. But here is roughly around about 90 bunches worth of radishes. So between 90 and 95 bunches worth of radishes. Some of them are a little bit smaller than I would want to sell for a market, but going wholesale and also going to the local distributor, I will work with them on the pricing. As you can see here, they still look amazing. We picked out ones that had cracks or little bite marks out of them from the bugs, and just did a light rinse on them. These will now go into the cold cellar area, and tomorrow morning, that's when we'll bunch so we don't ruin all the greens, and that will make them last a little bit longer. And then I'll wash them thoroughly tomorrow with the hose after I bunch them all, and then we will get them over to the distributor. You can see some of them are pretty big as well, so we've got a little bit of mixture on sizes, so we tried to bunch them like for like on the sizes. Poblanas are planted, and I actually moved the poblanas I planted in this bed back over here, 2 up here, so there's actually 9 planted in this bed. It's a little tight. Johnny Seed spacing says like 18 inches or so, it's probably close to 14 inches maybe, except for the end one. I've planted them much closer together. As long as you feed them when you're in raised beds, they should be fine. But what I wanted to show you guys now, as I started pruning and realized I hadn't actually shown you guys, so I planted these down in a little bit, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to prune everything up to this Y here. I didn't top these. I find that I need to. And I will continue to cut the suckers off that end up here. Make sure you clean your prune shears often. It's important because they can spread diseases. Some of these extra large leaves here too, that are facing downwards. And usually I would clip off these peppers here. I'm going to leave a couple so we have a couple early poblanas for ourselves. But like some of the smaller ones like this, I will actually prune right off. This will help make them a lot stronger until they can actually carry the weight of a pepper. So they kind of self-top themselves and into the Y. I know a lot of people say that you need to do that. I have not needed to do that ever. The nice part about it is they seem to be really nice and sturdy by the time they do go to this Y. It depends on where you're growing and how you're growing them too. It's important. I even prune off the flowers here. And this pepper too. They're not strong enough for those. It's a little different trying to hold this. You definitely don't want any leaves touching the ground. I will leave these flowers on here, but I'm again pruning to that Y. And any of the big over-exaggerated leaves get pruned. So it's pretty quick, but it is really good to do it because it will focus your plant growth on the right stuff. So even if it looks like, oh my goodness, there's hardly anything on here, don't worry, it will take off. So there you can see them look much more scrawny right now, but they're going to concentrate on root growth right now and getting adjusted to being in a bigger container, right? Because the roots were in a container before. So having a lot more root space and also the fresh compost will help with the food. We will also do a probably foliar feed maybe next week or so with them. Trying to push some fish and seaweed to really get some of their growth going. And then I will start putting granular on this like every other week because it's a raised bed, because I want to push production of these peppers. From a home gardener, you don't need to do that. But when I'm trying to make sure that we have some to sell, and this bed technically won't be all our poblanos. So similar to the bell pepper bed at the end there, and this is a poblano bed here. We go through quite a bit for our own use. We're going to also have a lot in pots and grow bags inside this new tunnel. So the most of the stuff in the tunnel is positioned for sale, whereas these are redundancies outside right now, because it will open up our grow space quite a bit. Over here, a couple things that I didn't mention were that my mom was able to interplant in these, in between the peas and the dill and everything on the around the cattle panel, 3 different types of pole beans, and so we've got that going. I need to get some carrot seed, so after lunch, if it still hasn't rained much, I may plant the second half of that carrot bed over here. And we did end up leaving some of the radishes that I transplanted here because they actually transplanted fine. And you'll see we have some radishes I need to come back and clean up. They were just too small to sell at this point. I'm also checking on whether or not we can sell some dill benches again this week, which would be great. And the spinach is ready to be picked. I'm worried it will be bolting already because of that heat this past week. Over here, we've got a bunch of plants laying out here overnight during the storms. So this afternoon, when I get breaking the storm again, any of the trays that don't have open bottoms, I need to come in and actually pull the trays out and empty because the water will stick in. Need to clean up these radishes here, and this is you can kind of see this line here is where I shoveled the top out. I need to shovel this section out and put new compost in, and then I need to also start some lettuce seeds and a few other things so we can have the succession of the lettuce back here, the lettuce over there, to continue to grow. These are all the bell peppers. They need some fertilizer really bad. I didn't get to it this morning, but that is on the list this week. And then we decided, assessing our situation with being about a couple weeks behind on the tunnel build because of the leveling of the ground we needed to do, to actually plant some tomatoes out here just as a fail-safe to make sure we have some tomatoes planted that are not in the tunnel. And so we have big beef here, and then Mom planted a little bit more onions on the back there, and then we have Valentine, which is like a little red grape tomato, Torahina, which is a orange cherry, and a bunch of sun golds, or orange cherries, which most people know. Sun golds are great because they're very disease resistant. These definitely need some love. So these will also be getting some fertilizer soon. And then these two were actually volunteers from inside the tunnel that I pulled up like a couple weeks ago, when they were like this big. And now look at them. I potted them up for a couple weeks and now transplanted them in there. And then my mom came in and planted more onions in this bed. So got some stuff done, but hopefully the weather isn't too bad. But I do want them to come in and actually rain so that we can get all of this stuff we planted watered. Well, I didn't get to this part. This is all the onions over here need to be weeded. You can see the sunflower volunteers that came back and a bunch of weeds in here. So I do need to come in and weed, and then I need to get straw down really, really quickly so I don't have to weed again. So that's on the list, and I haven't done the fertilizer yet on the garlic, which definitely needs it right now. Over here, let me actually, slowly spin around. The perennial bed is doing pretty well. The asparagus is a small patch, but at year 4 we're able to actually pick, so Jay's been able to enjoy some of that, which is great. Peonies are about to burst open, which is awesome, and the bearded iris is starting to open on that one, and there's like 4 or 5 different colors. I may add some more to those in the fall, I'm not sure. I really do like them, and it's kind of a nod to my grandmother, who absolutely loved the bearded irises. Those are just for fun. Every once in a while I'll put them in an arrangement as well. Over here we have the Lizzies. So these first 2 rows, I'm definitely killing a lot of them. Seem to have issues trying to get them to really root in quickly. I did use some BioCoat Gold to try to get the roots going. I used shade cloth, as you guys have seen, but difficult, definitely. Some of the varieties do better than others, so I'm trying to remember where I planted which ones, because the tags don't ever stay out here. I believe this is the ABC though, which is an easier Lizzie to grow from my experience last year. They're a little more hardy and a little bit more forgiving. And then today, being like the perfect transplant day, kind of fog mist all day, with a scheduled week of cooler weather and fog and clouds and a little bit of rain. I planted the giant marigolds at the end here, so I skipped a couple and did every other one. And then I planted some of the cosmos, and I planted these really tight. I am going to try to get these for cuts for long stems, so I will be pruning them, topping them and things like that. I still have these open spaces here. And then I traded with a wonderful farm, Honeyfields, up in Vermont, some Lizzie that I had with her Lizzies, and her Lizzies she'd gotten a lot earlier this year than I did. And so hers are much bigger here. And so that actually forces me to get the Hortonova net, the horizontal trellis net, up sooner. But I may try doing some pruning experiments on some of these, not all of them, just to see if that really does trigger a lot more of the stems and still get a decent sized stem length on those. And I planted some more of the apricots and yellows, I think, and golds, maybe, Lizzie's on the back there. I do still have a bunch of trays, maybe like 8 trays left of the Lizzie plugs that I had gotten in, that I'd potted up to 9 packs, and I need to come back in here and pull and plant in to where the ones that I burned were, with the heat. So I'll backfill those spots. This space here is really valuable, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I may actually skip my zinnias this year and just do more Lizzies. It's a more valuable, more expensive plant, so we'll see how that turns out. The other thing I traded for with my Lizzies were these Rudbeckia. They're annuals here, And these are just a mix of different colors to try. I've never grown the annual version, so I'm excited. And so, again, coming from Honeyfields, which is exciting. You can see the cherry blossom color. These ones down here did like the worst. These were the first ones I planted out, so I'm not sure if it was just too much temp swings or what. I do need to fix the irrigation. And we do want to add extensions onto the irrigation so they fit this whole way down. Planted some marigolds at the end of this row. And then here's more of the Lizzies. You can see probably temp swings are the reason for the yellowing, but I will come in and try to fertilize these this week with the cloudier and cooler temps. I did find a few more bamboo stakes and staked up a few more of the tomatoes that my mom planted and pruned them so that the leaves weren't touching. Tomorrow I'll come out and actually wash the plants off. Some of them got a little dirty. So they were pretty long, so we did make kind of plant them. You can kind of see here. So this one is actually, most of the roots are here, and then the vine goes underneath and will root underneath there. Out here you'll notice I was able to get rid of quite a few trays, so that was exciting. My mom did take some plants, but mostly tomatoes and some of the peppers and lettuce. I did not finish this back row. I didn't get the tractor back out since it was raining. But here's the rest of the flowers that I have to plant up or do something with. And then we've got the tomatoes in the back on top of everything in the tunnel. I was able to plant more onions around the poblanos. And then on this carrot bed, I ended up planting more onions. We just needed more onion space. And became a bigger priority than more carrots. We'll plant more carrots probably in a month or so once we get more space.